Hi, and welcome to the first 10 minutes of gameplay of Goldeneye, which just came out on Xbox Game Pass, as well as on the Xbox Store. Now, I have played the Nintendo 64 original, and I was around when it first came out on it in 1997. So right now you're about to go through the pause menu, and you can definitely hear why it actually doesn't sound as good as the original. When I first checked it out, it's just I was expecting the controller to be a bit iffy, but when I get to try it out, it's just it works. You can do it well with twin sticks, and you can use the shoulder buttons to change weapons, and that's the biggest difference with it. But apart from that, it's just there's no reticle. You have to hold down left trigger in order to aim, so therefore you had to get used to the old controller interface in order to play the game. But once you get used to it, you just get a full true feeling of this controller interface. But that's not the only thing that comes about it. It's also that it's a full genuine version of the game, which has been got a resolution of HD. And this is something that has been much requested for many years. I think back in the Xbox 360 that people are wanted to have Goldeneye on the system, but because it was used to be developed for the Nintendo system, developed by Rare, and they just ended up on it. So now it's Rare is being sold to Xbox, and there's been a huge license dispute between that. So Goldeneye has been made again for by EA for different systems, and none of them lived up to the Nintendo 64 original. So yeah, as you can see, the sniper rifle is just operates like a pistol, but it does really work for the long range attack. So it is really useful in the first level, but you'll get used to the pistol, but you may find a lot of AK guns around, which I found to be really useful if you have to gun down lots of enemies. So, but apart from that, it is something you have to speed run through the levels in order to get some bonuses. But for me, I completed this level before, and all you need to do is you have to shoot the alarms off and then jump off the dam, like a bungee jump thing, something like that. But it's just the game doesn't give you the objectives unless you have to look them up, and you just have to figure out how to do them. Otherwise, you won't get through to another level, which is a bit of a pain. You thought that the game would be improved to give you the objectives and give you the best controller scheme, but as you can see here too, that the reason it's 30 frames per second is because the game runs as 30 frames per second, which is not being done at 60 frames per second, so it's a bit disappointing really. But you'll also find that this is an emulated Nintendo 64 original than a remastered or remade one, which means you have to deal with 30 frames per second. And I think there was some graphical issues, there's some seams not connecting properly, or some video bugs or something like that. But apart from that, when I first got into it, I actually got on well with it. I completed the first level and went through the second level, and I'm actually having fun again. And this shows that this game doesn't really have a lot of faults with it. You do have to get used to the same kind of things that you should expect with the Nintendo 64 original. You had to get through the menus, get used to the controls again, and making sure you know where to look without having to refer to the strategy guide. But then again, you probably end up looking for the strategy guide because the game relies on your intuition in order to complete it, so it's kind of a bit annoying. Now, I haven't really played it when it first came out. I only played it over a decade ago, and it's a bit weird. I played Time Splitters before, so it's easy to know how to get through with this kind of controller scheme. But as you get through lots of missions, then you'll get to know the objectives, and then you just have to come back to it in order to complete the levels as quick as you can, and then you can get all the secrets DK mode, I don't know if it's renamed, or even pinball mode. So these modes really makes for a bigger replay value. So I just think it just really makes it like something you can come back to, and I don't think it actually ages well. But so far, I only played it for about like a few moments, but apart from that, it's just like, it's something to get back to. Although it's more of a spy game, it doesn't allow for a lot of espionage or stealth. Instead, it's more action-based, and it's just pretty much the same with the James Bond movies. So this one is pretty much focused on action, so you don't get really penalised for stealth unless if you go to some missions. Some of the objectives you like, I haven't really checked, but I think you have to act in a certain way, do secondary objectives, and it just works in the same way with the successors to this game, those time splitters. You can buy them on the Xbox store, which are Time Splitters 2 and Future Perfect, and these are like a step up from the Goldeneye games. But this one has been in like a licensing limbo for years, and now you can get it on like the Xbox or the Nintendo Switch. Personally, I haven't got the expansion pack with Nintendo Switch Online, so therefore I cannot test it properly. But I've been hearing that the Xbox version does actually work really nicely compared to the Nintendo Switch. Like, I don't know, but it just appears as if it performs well. The only thing it does not have is an online multiplayer, as we discussed in the podcast, and this is a real shame. But it does have some impressive technology there that actually like makes it function well. But so far, it doesn't have the efficiency and the performance as you expect from the Nintendo 64 original. And also I noticed the UI element hasn't been like remade, so it's just a bit blurry. So therefore it's just a simplified port that has a few adjustments in order to make it work on the Xbox or the Switch. I mean, entirely up to you whether you want to get the expansion pack or get it on the Xbox store, possibly with Rare Replay in order to play this, but right now it's just like, if you have a Xbox Game Pass, you can get this for free already, same if you get the expansion pack, but then so far it's just like it hasn't done a lot just to make it easier for the beginners to go through, or people who have like born much later into the 21st century. They might probably be very confused by this user interface, but once you get used to it, it just works perfectly fine. Now, as you can see here, it's just about to finish the first server, which it's very easy once you know where to find alarms there, and it's not like they're discreetly hidden. You can choose to like kill the enemies or something, just as long as you shoot all the alarms, and then over that part you have to bungee jump off, and that way you'll trigger a cutscene, and that's where James gets to jump off. It's really interesting, like the actors like some blocky faces and bits like that, so you can see a little bit of Pierce Brosnan here, but back then it was just like really decent enough for the old game, so that's pretty much fine. Mind you, I did try the expansion pack once, and I don't think it made a huge difference. And as you can see, yeah, this game's got the achievements, so completed dam, and that's the only one I got so far. Now, time to attack in the toilets, and that's where the game begins. But depending on where you drop off, you just definitely deal with loads of enemies, so yeah. Content warning, toilet with loads of guards in it. Anyway, this is a mission where you have to like blow up the silos, meet up with a double agent as well as like 006, and it's a bit more bit complex, but it then leads into the more missions where you just have to go into like one way and then go into the more different places. And you will much appreciate this gameplay for its fast-paced action and being able to like have loads of fun with it. Oh, and I just encountered this funny goof where the guard just gets trapped behind the door. But anyway, I hope you enjoy the first 10 minutes of this game, and please follow, like and subscribe to X Marks the Box on YouTube, and don't forget to follow us on the podcast audio services. So thanks for watching and take care.
Thank you for listening to the X Marks the Box podcast. Follow us at X Marks Box on Twitter or X Marks the Box on YouTube. And follow us on all audio podcast services. Thanks for listening.